Hey everyone, welcome to MOOCs to Masters, How to Stack from Coursera into Gies Business at Illinois. We are so excited to have you here today. I see lots and lots of people joining us today. We are going to give everybody a couple minutes here to slowly join. While we're waiting, I am going to share my screen just in case you are looking for a little background information to help add some additional information to today's webinar. We just launched a brand new website, so I did want to point you in that direction, and we can actually put that link in the chat. It's really great, much easier to navigate than our old one. You can look here at Explore Programs. We have our master's programs, graduate certificates, all other courses as well. And then one other thing is the events tab at the top. So if you enjoy your time with us today in this webinar, we have lots of webinars. So great information virtually that you can learn from. We're walking through the actual application this Friday with some of my colleagues, as well as there's an upcoming iDegree workshop webinar on networking. We have our general iDegree webinars on our master's degrees, ambassador office hours, all kinds of opportunities for you to join us and learn more. So I guess I'll kick things off and first of all, introduce myself. My name is Kate Deering, and hopefully we've got most people joining right now. I am an assistant director within Gies Online recruiting and admissions. So I work in that online space, been here for a few years now. So lots of fun to share this information with you all. I do want to point out on your screen currently there is a QR code. So if you do want a little bit more information after today, we're happy to reach out to you in the next day or two. If you just scan that code and go ahead and fill out that short form, and we will reach right back out to you. Okay, so we're so excited to have you here. Throw in the chat where you're from. We'd love to see where you're joining us from. It looks like someone says my voice. Let me move this up a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit better. And let me check my volume. There we go. Hopefully that will be a little bit better for you all to hear me. Hopefully you are all joining us as a current Coursera learner, and if not, we will be explaining what that looks like and all of the other options for learning within Gies Online at the University of Illinois, Gies College of Business. I would like to direct all of your questions to the Q&A feature as we move throughout the presentation. This is just a great place to leave your questions where everyone can benefit from the answers and be able to keep a it's just a little bit easier to keep all of the questions straight. Sometimes that gets a little confusing to follow answers of questions in the chat. We do love positive comments though in the chat. So, you know, throw questions that, or I'm sorry, comments that might not need answers into the chat. And I'll also ask you some questions that may have some feedback in the chat as well as we move throughout our time today. So our agenda. Hopefully you're familiar with one of our MOOCs or you've taken one on the Coursera platform, but we're excited today to show you all of the credentials and stacking options that you have within Gies Business. I am going to explain each one of those, each step in the learner journey that you could potentially have, and hopefully answer those questions regarding taking a specific MOOC and building upon that knowledge with additional credentials like a non-degree course at Illinois, a potential graduate certificate, or a master's degree. And then we are going to hear from one of our current students, which I'm very excited, who has some really great personal experience with stackability in many of our programs. If you do have questions for a panelist, throw those in the Q&A too. I'll be kind of keeping track of that along the way, and we'll be able to ask our panelists those questions as well. And then I also have two colleagues, as I said, Amy Simpson and Allison Hodina in the chat and the Q&A, and they are going to be able to answer and link you to a lot of information, you know, regarding our programs. Okay, so I do want to introduce our guest today. Gaurav Sachdev is here. He has a really unique story. Do you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background, where you live, and maybe just a brief overview of your path so far? Oh, you're muted.
So, am I good
There you
now?
go.
Sorry.
Yes, yep, perfect.
Cool. Thank you, Kate, for having me here. And it's a wonderful opportunity to have with many of our prospective learners on the Coursera side. A little bit about me. I am Gaurav Sachdev. I'm here in San Diego. I see popping up in the chat some of the folks in the San Diego. Currently, San Diego is not behaving like San Diego. It's quite raining here. We have a storm. But I've been here in San Diego from last 10 years. And I'm working as in a telecommunication company from about like 12 years. Here in the telecommunication industry, I'm playing a role of staff system analyst, pretty much on the information technology and computer science area. And I am looking forward to many of you to learn your journey and quite share about my experience and how this awesome stackability plays an important role as you grow in your career once you are in the wherever you are in the industry phase.
Excellent. We are excited to hear from you as we move throughout the presentation today. I know you really have a unique story and that you have actually taken part in many of these different credentials. So we're super excited to have you here to share your experience. So today, I do first want to give you an overview of Gies Business and explore a little bit about being part of Gies Online and what that means as far as work-life balance, expanded learning options that we're going to talk about, as well as why you should choose Gies Online to help you reach your goals. So I am going to have you all enter in the chat just while I'm kind of moving on to the next slide. What's been actually holding you back from pursuing graduate credentials or education up until now? I'm always curious. We have a lot of learners that join us at these webinars, but what is your hesitancy? And hopefully we can alleviate some of those concerns today. Amy and Allison will take your responses in the chat. So to start, let's just talk a little bit about Gies Business Online as a whole and some reasons why you should join us, and just three of the main qualities that our program is built upon. The first one is flexibility, and that we are 100% online program, so it's fully online for all credentials that we offer. This means there's no travel requirements in addition to your already busy schedule, I'm sure. It also means easy access to group projects and live sessions. We are also flexible in giving you the power over your degree plan. There's no specific plan that you have to follow. Yes, there is a couple courses that you have to take in a specific order, but you're really in charge of the overall plan to complete your degree. There's elective choices, there's focus areas that you can choose to really cater your credentials and your degree to your career, which is great. You also determine the pace at which you move through our 8-week terms. So you can take one course or two, depending on your schedule, and then you can alter that choice throughout your time in the degree. So we're really flexible in that way. And then one last thing is that we also have a flexible billing option. So our tuition is built upon a pay-as-you-go model where you only pay for the course that you are registered for in that time. So the second quality is stackability, and this is the main point of our webinar today. Our credentials and online programs, they stack and they work together. So wherever you're at in your learner journey, which I think most of you, a lot of you are starting with those MOOCs, which is great. We have an option for you. So there are those MOOCs, which are those single courses for upskilling on the Coursera platform, and you can stack those into a 4-credit course with Gies and combine that Coursera content with a high engagement component. And don't worry, we're going to talk all about this in this hour. And then we also offer graduate certificates, which are 3 course sequences where you can master a specific topic. And those are actually now we have 5 current graduate certificates that are all stackable into our master's degree. So you can be 3 full courses into your degree if admitted after taking one of those graduate certificates. So this unique stackability really allows you to test drive a course. So you can test drive the MOOC course, you can add on that high engagement material with the Illinois portion and try that out. And perhaps, hopefully, you love taking that 4 credit hour course. And that is a great introduction into what continuing on to a graduate certificate or a master's degree would entail. And then lastly, online by design. This really just means that we didn't adapt during COVID or any other time to be online. We actually specifically designed this program back in 2016 to be delivered online to thousands of learners globally. So at that point, we created highly engaging content that you can access anywhere, anytime, without giving up any of your career or your family commitments or your hobbies, anything like that. So that's just another great quality of the Gies Business Online model. Just focusing a little bit more in, this is just an overview of the second pillar or that second quality of stackability that we just talked about. And this slide just represents a good visual of all of the building blocks and credentials that we do offer within Gies. We're going to dive into each of these in a moment, but that first small cube is the MOOCs that you can take. The second larger cube is going to be taking just 1 4-credit-hour non-degree course. If you combine 3 of those, you can jump up to that next cube, the light blue cube, and that would be a graduate certificate, which is a credential that you can earn that will be transcriptable with on your transcripts, and you will also earn that certificate. And then lastly is our master's degrees, which we do have an exciting new announcement of stacking our full MSM master's degree into our IMBA now. And luckily, we have a special guest today that will be able to talk more about that here in a second. But all of these complement an existing credential. They all allow you to develop targeted knowledge in specific areas. They all allow you to work on your own pace, which is really great. And then lastly, I think one thing that we really do a great job of focusing on the outcomes that you will have in your career and the impact that it will have on each stackable step. So every step of the way, you'll be able to see an immediate impact, whether that's in your current job or you earn a promotion or maybe you start your own business after completing the MBA. So here is what the Gies learner journey looks like if you were to take part in every step. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do these in this specific order. But if you did, you would start with that Coursera MOOC that we're going to talk about here in a second. That's going to give you specific foundational knowledge in a skill set or a skill area. And then you could take that MOOC knowledge and take an Illinois non-degree 4-credit-hour course led by Gies faculty and earn transcript credit at the University of Illinois. From there, maybe you really enjoyed trying out that graduate level course and the engagement that you had in it. And then you decide that you'd maybe stack 3 of those courses together in a graduate certificate. Some topics that we have graduate certificates currently are strategic leadership and management, maybe an accounting analytics graduate certificate. These all will be 3 courses that really complement each other, and then they're all included in that graduate certificate. All of these possibilities, including that last step of a master's degree, are possible, and you're able to expand your learning and take on only what you can handle at that time. So, so my question is for Gaurav, where did you start? Where did you start your journey? I guess that's my first question.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. It's a long history for me when I flash back on when I started this awesome Coursera MOOC. I started with managing the organization. So like I did mention earlier in my introduction, I've been in this telecommunication industry from last 12 years. I did arrive at a point in my time where I was in pretty much in the comfort zone. I was doing pretty much regular stuff at my job, and I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know how decisions are made in an organization, how these decisions are impact to our stakeholders, to our suppliers, to our customers at the end of the day, and how these revenues are streamlined to multiple business domains and departments that we have in the organization. And the great place that I started that learning is about in the Coursera MOOC, which is managing the organization. I learned about different lenses that an organization looks towards their suppliers or customers or any entities that they interact with it. That gives me a greater visibility and drove me more to learn about how the culture of the organization is built and how actually the business operations are performed. And I was able to relate those my experiences with my day-to-day jobs. And that builds my excitement, and then I started on learning more about other MOOCs we had. I learning about the financial markets, how the finance reacts, the market conditions, and then I also started learning about the economics and the behavior patterns that we observe during the pandemic or pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. We had it. That was a major challenge and major driver for me to go into this online MOOC modes and see how our consumer patterns are.
Okay. That's great information. I think a lot of people start with some of those
Mhm.
managerial topics. So hopefully we'll be able to share also after that, like your next step. But I want to get to the next slide just so we can
Sure.
explain what a Coursera MOOC is to those who are
Mhm.
joining us that really don't have any experience with that. In fact, who that's joining us today has only taken a MOOC before, whether it's an Illinois MOOC or an open content MOOC? If you could just throw a +1 in the chat if you've taken just a MOOC at one point. I'm curious how many of you have started that way. But Coursera MOOC, so massive online open course is what that stands for. These are non-credit bearing courses that you complete asynchronously on your own time on the Coursera platform. These offer specific career aligned training like foundations of everyday leadership, developing a winning marketing strategy. We have many. And then you will earn a digital certificate that you can share on social platforms. You typically will enroll in just the MOOC portion on Coursera if that's just your end goal to learn that specific skill. You can audit these for free, or if you'd like to earn that certificate, you would pay a small membership fee on Coursera. What the makeup of these MOOCs is that they have pre-recorded videos from Illinois faculty on that topic. There'll be some self-assessed quizzes, you'll have some assignments, and there's a little bit of peer evaluations. Two MOOCs, and we're going to switch gears to the next slide after this, but two of these MOOCs are included in every Illinois 4-credit hour course in the IMBA, IMSA, and the IMSM programs. So you can stack two specific MOOCs that we've already developed into a 4-credit hour course. Gaurav, can you explain in your words what taking just a Coursera course is like within the bigger picture of all the Gies credentials?
In one word, if I have to summarize that one, it's very intuitive, I would say, the Coursera coursework, and that basically uh, is the major driver for me to get into those courses, right? My experience was similar to watching a TV shows on the Netflix, right? That basically, once I complete, it was a smaller portions of to start begin with each week by week, and I was always driven and fascinated that okay, what happens next? Just similar what we you if you would have to watch a TV show, right? What happens next? Okay, now you learn about the demand. What about the supply next, right? So these Coursera videos are based on your real world examples. I think the professors at the Gies does a fantastic job explaining the current market here and every topic in an interactive fashion so that you can relate with your real world examples. And that was my major driver here.
Okay. So I don't know if you'd agree, but a lot of times we equate the Coursera portion of our courses to be kind of like your virtual textbook in the 4 credit hour courses. So it's
Definitely.
going to have all that foundational material that you need to learn the high engagement component and work with your professors and have that interaction and those real world projects
Mhm.
to learn from. So just moving to that next step, just to clarify, the next step is taking a non-degree course. It's a great way to try out an Illinois course at Gies. These are courses that are included in our degree programs like the IMBA, IMSM, and the IMSA programs. These courses combine 2 Coursera MOOCs, and then they're going to also add in a high engagement component that is going to enable you to engage with faculty each week and your classmates. There's a lot of collaboration. These have a simple application process for, just to take a non-degree course. We do require a bachelor's degree. And one difference from just taking the Coursera component is that you will have to pay tuition. So the tuition is listed in that last bullet. Our courses typically run $320 per credit hour. Unless you're taking an accounting course, those run $850 per credit hour. Um, so I guess thinking about an example, so say you've taken a MOOC like Foundations of Everyday Leadership, but you have not taken the Illinois course BADM 508, which is a leadership in teams course at Illinois, where you would apply, you would take that as a non-degree student. Gaurav, can you describe in your words the difference now? You kind of described that a little bit in this last, but how specifically do you combine the Coursera component and the high engagement component?
Definitely. So on the Coursera course, I would say it does a fantastic job giving you the fundamentals and the basics of what the application is. And when you're moving towards the Illinois degree as a credit course, first of all, it giving you a credential on a transcript. That's the one thing. And the second thing, it comes with a when we are doing the degree, it comes with a added assignments for us so that we can really apply what we have learned, the fundamentals, and build upon that one and demonstrate our learning into the assignments that the professors give us to us, right? So those encourage us the 360-degree learning for me. So basically, the Coursera course will give me the fundamental knowledge, and then applying that as an credit. I know that comes with a small fee, but I think that has a major impact when I have to apply those fundamental knowledge and build upon it to more rigorous theories.
Okay, quick question from the Q&A. So what percentage, and you don't have to give an exact number, but what percentage is those pre-recorded videos versus the reading? And just they ask because there's many online courses that just while they're online, they're just a lot of reading. So what would you say the Coursera video component versus the reading part?
Uh, I would say the Coursera video, as far as the concern, I would say that's basically 70%, I would say, and the reading is the 30%. Again, both are, if you look at it, those are the textbook knowledges as far as
Mhm.
the concern. So I would rate it as a roughly percentage on the video side because it's more intuitive, and then there is so much into it that you would learn when you are facing a professor one-on-one, and then reading will also enhance your knowledge that what was those in-depth theories are.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay, so just a little bit more information on the high engagement component that the Illinois portion is going to add in addition to the Coursera component. Every Illinois course is going to have that MOOC foundational material, but then it also has other components that are going to build on that MOOC material. So you're going to have those real world scenarios and projects to pull through those concepts, as Gaurav said, that you've learned in those MOOCs. You'll have a 90-minute live class on Zoom each week where your professor will give you their lecture. You will also have small group breakout sessions within those live classes. They're very interactive and collaborative. They are offered at several different times during the day to accommodate all of our global time zones. Typically 2 to 3 times they'll offer those courses. And then your faculty is available for office hours where you can discuss current assignments, you can have discussions with them. Typically, a lot of students join these. It's just a great way to listen to other people's questions and have some extra conversations to understand the material. So together, those work together, the Coursera component and that high engagement component. I guess, Gaurav, besides the course content being different, can you share any other aspects of being a Gies student that is different than just being a Coursera student?
Um, I would say networking is the very key component here with the with when you officially join as a credit course in the Gies, right? When I started listening to the Coursera MOOCs, I didn't know that I would meet so many friends and so many colleagues there here that would share their own perspectives, and I get to learn from them. Now I call them as a family because there's so much value added from these courses that I interacted with these many networks that I have built, and that actually enhance my more knowledge because they are not necessarily coming from the same industry that I am from. So I get a visibility of the other industries and how those things looks at the other perspectives when we are joining in the live sessions, or either it could be a breakout session, like you did mention that it's a high engagement component. And also we have study group sessions that students are encouraging that are purely student led, and it's so fascinating to interact with those students and learn from them, and that makes your experience highly value add here.
For sure. I know just our program being global, I think it's so exciting to meet people from all over the world, but you kind of nailed it, is that their experiences are completely different than yours. And that's going to be the
Exactly.
people in your classroom. So great point. Okay, so we're running a little behind here, so I'm going to kind of cruise through these next couple of slides. One other credential is a graduate certificate, and this is just another stackable step within the learner journey that that you can pursue. And these are made up of Illinois IMBA, IMSA, and IMSM courses. They combine 12 hours of credit to earn that transcriptable certificate. They do have a brief application process where you will need a resume, a 500-word personal statement, a TOEFL test if you're an international student, as well as your unofficial transcripts from your bachelor's degree, which is a requirement. Those credentials can give you confidence. These graduate certificates, they can give you confidence and knowledge in a specific area like accounting basics or maybe strategic leadership. Say you're interested in taking on a new leadership role. This would be a great foundation for you to just have some basic skills in that area to be able to lead a team. And then you're able to possibly stack those graduate certificates into one of our master's degrees. So all 5 of our graduate certificates that are listed at the bottom of this slide can count as 12 credit hours towards one of our master's degrees, the IMSM, IMBA, or the IMSA program. So you could be 12 credits ahead once you apply, and not only would you have earned a graduate certificate and a specific foundation in that area, but now you're partially towards partially on your way to earning that master's degree as well. So our I degrees, the IMBA, IMSA, and IMSM, these are master's degrees, and we have 3. Gaurav, can you talk a little bit about transitioning from, before we talk about this, from your MOOC into, did you take a non-degree course or did you jump into a degree right away?
Uh, I I did start with a non-degree. I mean, I did start with a non-degree Coursera MOOCs, and then I enrolled as an IMSM student. That's what my journey path was. But um, to give you a little bit background, right? Like I was mentioning in my career path, that I've got really fascinated learning about the managing organization courses, and I further learned that I could stack that courses into a master's degree. Uh, and I was like really fascinated to join that IMSM degree program. And another component played Kate, I believe that the announcement that you're going to make is the stacking program from IMSM to IMBA, right? That along when I was in the IMSM journey, the announcement that was made that I could now further stack my IMSM degree to a Master of Business Administration degree, which is a full-fledged MBA courses that involves 72 credit courses requirements. And most of the MOOCs, if you look on the Coursera, it's a combination of 2 MOOCs that will earn you 4 credit course. So same way you would for the IMSM degree requirements, we would do 36 credits, and most of the courses that you would learn on the Coursera's are reapplied on your learning. So you basically reapply your learning, not relearning the stuff here. Yep.
Excellent. I did want to clarify too. I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat.
Yep.
So say you're in a situation where you've taken a MOOC before, and you're asking us. We get a lot of these questions. Has that earned transcript credit? So if you've only taken a MOOC, that's excellent. You've started your journey, but you are just earning a certificate on the Coursera platform. In order to earn actual transcript credit from the University of Illinois and add in that high engagement component that we're talking about, you will need to apply either to a non-degree application to take 1 4-credit-hour course, apply to a graduate certificate, or apply to one of our master's degree programs. Once admitted, we will recognize and kind of migrate over that progress that you've had on Coursera. You won't necessarily have to repeat that material once you start in one of your courses. You're obviously going to want to review it and work through that as you go go through the class, but you don't have to repeat that. As far as like a tuition question, if you earn your certificate on Coursera, yes, you probably would have paid the subscription fee in order to earn that certificate. Coursera is included in the Illinois tuition, so there's not an additional fee to take Coursera courses. So I hope that clarifies a little bit. I know I saw a couple of questions on that, and we can definitely revisit that as well if we need to. So briefly, a few of our degrees, our master's degrees, which are amazing that you can take these degrees and learn from your home and continue working and earn your master's degree. And this is the program that Gaurav has just completed. This is the IMSM, the Master of Science in Management. This is for many, many different learner types. We have non-business backgrounds that are looking to develop a leadership and management base. We have business backgrounds that are pivoting to include management all of a sudden in their skill set. And then we also have highly technical backgrounds that are looking to broaden their business knowledge and possibly pivot and take on a team assignment. This degree comes in at $11K. You can finish it in anywhere from 1 to 2 years. And it has the same flexibility as all of our programs where you can take 1 or 2 courses each 8-week term. And that's totally paced by you, depending on what you can handle at that time. There's 5 start dates. We just added a summer start date, which actually I need to add to this slide. And you will complete 36 credit hours. That will include 6 required courses and 3 electives, either in a predetermined track or any 3 electives that we offer. And then lastly, the amazing announcement that we made that you can now stack this MSM and have 36 credit hours into your IMBA. And that's exactly what Gaurav has done. He's started. Did you start the IMBA yet?
Yes, I did start back in the January. I'm already 4 credit down there.
Okay, so you're
Cool.
halfway there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're in courses with IMBA students. But quick question: how has that IMSM degree or that Master's in Management degree affected your career path so far? What's the main effect it's had, I guess, on your professional development?
So I want to make an announcement on that one, that last year in October, I got promoted at my organization as a staff analyst before even I was about to graduate in December of last year with the IMSM degree program. So I think that was a major accomplishment on my side. Seeing my current work, organization management, seeing the growth in me, the knowledge that I bring that to the table definitely added more to the skill sets on my hat, and they willing to offer me a staff position, which I now oversee many of my juniors here. So I'm more in the management role, earlier from the technical more. So as I'm climbing over towards the administration side, I'm hoping the same results would yield from the IMBA degree once I graduate from there as well.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's
Thank
exactly
you.
what we want to hear. And, we always talk about the immediate kind of impact most of our programs have on our students, and that's a perfect example. So, okay, so let's just jump. I see a lot of questions, and I want to make sure we have time to answer those questions. The second degree is the Master of Science in Accountancy. So if you are looking to build expertise in accounting, financial reporting, audit and control, U.S. federal taxation, you can be a mid-level professional, or you could just be, that has experience already, or you could be somebody who's completely new to the accounting field. Either way, you're going to be well positioned to advance your career and increase your earning potential. Tuition comes in at 20 to 28K. This is a range because of some of your course choices. You will have some options based on your elective choices. So a non-accounting course is going to be $320 per credit hour, and you have to take at least one of those. You could take 3 though, so that's where that range is going to come in. We do have 2 start dates, January and August. You can start in the summer, but you would be taking a non-accounting class in the summer if you wanted to start in the MSA program in the summer. 18 to 36 months is about the timeline of this degree. It includes 32 credit hours. 5 of those are core classes, and then you have 3 elective choices to choose from. And lastly, our IMBA. This IMBA is going to come in at 23K, 2 to 3 years to complete. And like if you're Grav, you've already finished your MSM, so he probably only has about a year or so left, right? To
That's
complete.
correct.
Yeah, to complete
Yeah.
this. Have you been taking 2 courses at a time or 1?
I did reduce a little bit pace of the thing here. I'm taking, since I have more responsibilities on the work side with the given promotion, and that's what I love about this program. It offers a great flexibility. Now I have moved into a 4 credit course in a per 8-week term.
Perfect. And we have a lot of students that go back and forth, like one term they
Yes.
take 2, and then the
Yep.
next term they're too busy and they take 1 course. You can even take an 8-week term off. You would just work with your advisor. We do have a maximum of 5 years to complete any of our degrees per the graduate college. So, okay, so that's the MBA. You can start that at actually 5 start dates. That one also is we just added a new summer start date last week, actually. And then included in that MBA is, and this is one difference between the MSM and the MBA, is that you will have 2 capstone projects that are completed after. You'll complete those on 2 of the 6 specializations that you complete, and then you'll have 1 program capstone at the end of your time with us. That's a month-long project with 4 to 5 peers, and you'll present that along with the help of a professor. Were you going to say something?
Yes, I was about to say something. I saw when you asked it first question that what is blocking these prospective learners on enrolling as a degree program, and many of you guys have said finance or cash or cost related thing. So what I want to just bring out that component here, that is also equally important for me. But this 23K cost, if we are looking over the period of over the period of 2 to 3 years, you don't have to require to pay upfront 23K. You would take this as you take the courses. So let's say if you're taking just 4 credit courses, you would pay only for the cost associated with the 4 credit, not the entire program cost. So I think that really helped me in my personal experience because I have other finance commitments as well. So it was not too much burden for me if I look over the whole 3 years, right? And of course, like I did talked about, the ROI, return on investment, is huge on this one.
That's a great point. And I think that is a definite selling point, that you could just pay as you go. It's not so overwhelming, and it's kind of has
Yeah.
an indirect financial planning, built in.
Yeah.
There's a question: how long did it take you to complete your MSM?
IMSM, I guess I was very excited. It took me 1.5 years to complete it. To complete the entire IMSM 36 credit program.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's normal. I think anywhere between 1 and 2 years is about what we see. This slide is just some facts from our IMBA graduates. If you're curious, we talk a lot about the professional experience that our students bring to the classroom, and one kind of, I guess, measurement of that is the number of Fortune 100 companies that we have represented. That's in the IMBA, so we have 70 of those represented. And then these next two statistics, I think, are very important in that when you talk about the results of being in our program and the ROI, 61% of our IMBA students will earn a promotion or accept a new job while in the program. And then the average student will have a 22%, students will have an average increase of 22% in their pay, which is pretty much unheard of, and that's while they're in the program. So a couple really great statistics. And then there's a couple there just very high rated. We have a high recommendation rate, and also just as far as reflecting on what you apply directly to your career, that's 95%. Okay, so I definitely wanted to get to networking, and then we'll probably skip through a couple of these end slides, but we've talked about all the different credentials that we offer. I did want to share a little bit of information on the student engagement. So I think this is something that's missing from just taking that Coursera MOOC, is the networking aspect of joining UIUC online and the Gies College of Business. Coursera does serve the foundational material in our Illinois 4-credit courses, but it is asynchronous, and it doesn't have a lot of networking opportunities that you will gain by taking that additional step as a degree seeker. We have Gies-led opportunities, we have student-led opportunities, and I just kind of threw a few up here just to briefly explain some of those kind of opportunities that you would have. iConnects are meetups where we bring in professional speakers, or when someone from our leadership team, possibly, where we'll have a little professional development, and then we'll invite prospective students and current learners. Immersions are really amazing opportunities where we offer domestic or international projects that are on location with an extra cost. You will apply to those. And these are a group of 30 to 40 students that work with a company and various stakeholders in a community. And they work on a project together. These can also count as a capstone project if you are an IMBA student. iConverge. Have you been to iConverge?
I've been.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. I've been the last one, and I'm looking forward to this year in September.
Okay,
I've already
awesome.
booked my tickets, and I already am all set. I think it's a great place where I can put a face to the networks that I have built, right? So that's
Yes,
my
yes.
driver here. Yeah.
Well, I personally love iConnect or iConverge.
Yeah.
iConverge is our kickoff event every fall where we invite all of our alumni and our online students to campus. And we'll have all of our faculty members will be there, well, a lot of them. Our leadership team will have professional development. You can go on a tour. We'll do a tailgate, a football game, all kinds of things, but mostly just a great networking opportunity. As far as student-led opportunities, we have lots of those too. Workplace is a resource that's just for our students. It's a social media group where our students share ideas like study guides, study groups, they job search, and then there's just lots of fun social posts. Sometimes those social posts are geared towards a meetup, where like a student-led meetup where they'll say, hey, I'm Kate, I live in Champaign-Urbana, I'd love to meet with any students that live close, and then they have this organic group that they now are able to network that's close to home. So that's just another kind of, I guess, benefit of being admitted to Illinois. The group work, can you talk a little bit about the group work and how you've met some students through that?
Right. So you get a lot of opportunity for the group works, right? As part of the course, the credit-based courses that you are taking it, there are team assignments. So basically, you're working on the team goals and setting up your meeting, just like how would you work in a work setting, you would work on your assignments here. So that's the group work I would say counting in. And then there are other groups that that on the workplace that Kate were mentioning about, like, the meetup groups, right? There are in-person meetups also that's happening, and for the local people who live in the same neighborhood or vicinity or the city here. And then if so those are the two, I would say, the categorization of the group work. One is your through your courses, and then other group, I think there are a lot of groups you would fascinated to join on the workplace, and then you would have a lot of opportunity to meet and interact in person as well. Yeah.
Awesome. And then that last bullet is we do have a couple of groups that can help you work on your leadership skills, your presentation skills, and that's the ambassador group as well as the new student guide. The ambassador group is a group of students who are really excited to share their experience with kind of like what Gaurav is doing today with potential prospective students. We'll connect them one-on-one. They act as panelists. They share their student stories. So that's a great opportunity. And then new student guides really help newly admitted students with their onboarding tasks, and just kind of have a friend while you're working through that initial onboarding process. So lots of networking opportunities. That's a common question, how do I connect in this virtual environment? But I can say that there's so many opportunities. Here's a slide just representing the workplace, and a couple posts, the one on the right is a meetup where these students connected in Germany randomly. And then Patrick on the left, he had a thoughtful graduation post, all kinds of posts on there. Here's some student-led meetup pictures. These happen domestically as well as internationally. The one in the middle is in Colombia. And so that's just another, as Gaurav said, another great opportunity. So wrapping up, I did want to let you know that part of your experience, at Gies is we do have a full student and academic success team. This is going to be your advising team. So as an admitted student, you'll have full access to these, once you start classes, to these advisors will help you with your degree plan, questions on what courses to pair. They have office hours, just another really great resource. Application requirements. Now, if you have any specific questions on this, please reach out to us. I know we're kind of running out of time here, but in order to apply to our non-degree application is a simple 5-minute process confirming you have a bachelor's. Both of the graduate certificates in our degree programs, they all require a brief resume. Your unofficial transcripts, because we do require a bachelor's degree for both of those credentials, a personal statement, and then a TOEFL test or English proficiency test if you're an international student. An additional requirement for our master's degrees is 2 letters of recommendation, and all you need is the name and email for those. We actually will email them a form to fill out. Super easy, not a huge time constraint for your recommenders. And then the IMSA program has 2 prerequisite courses, a business management course, as well as a financial accounting course. So you'll fill out that course requirement form within your application. I saw some scholarship questions. We do have 2 scholarships that we offer. For all 3 master's degrees, we offer the Coursera a scholarship in partnership with Coursera, which is really great. It's need and diversity based, and it's focused on making our programs more accessible and in alignment with our goals of impacting our global community of students. That is going to reimburse 70% of your tuition. And then we'll have the Forte Scholarship, which is going to award 1 female per term, $20,000, and is in that scholarship, we're looking for exemplary leadership, diverse backgrounds, and those that demonstrate a commitment to advancing women in business. So both of those applications are within your program application. You have to submit all of them at the same time and by that priority 1 or 2 deadline. If you have questions about that, again, please reach out to us. we usually take 1 to 2 weeks. We turn applications around pretty quick. You should hear back from us with a decision, a missing materials email, or we will invite you to interview. We interview all master's degree applicants. And then after you interview, we typically send decisions out every week. So it's overall a pretty quick process. Here's our upcoming deadlines. As I said, we just recently launched a summer deadline last week. So you can apply by April 6th to start in May, which is a great option. Even if you're applying for fall and you're just kind of curious, you want to try out a course first, go ahead and fill out that non-degree application and start in April, or you can just apply outright to the IMBA, IMSA, or the IMSM program for a summer start, which is a great option. And then if you're looking towards fall, May 4th would be that first deadline with the following advantages to applying early. No application fee. You can access that workplace site that we were talking about and start working on some of that Coursera information. So, okay, lots of information thrown at you. Let's see if we can answer some of your questions real quick. And I know it's,
Definitely.
let's see, what time is it? Oh, 3:51. Okay, so I had us right at 4. So we do have a few minutes for some questions. Let's see. So if I audit the class with Coursera, can it count towards credit if I later apply? So if you've earned your certificate on Coursera, as an admitted student, we actually link up your Coursera account to Illinois. And so they recognize any certificate that you've earned on the Coursera platform already and will automatically give you that completion credit. So you don't actually earn a grade for the Coursera component, you earn a completion grade. Gaurav, can you talk a little bit more about that as far as like the grading goes of the Coursera component?
Sure. So like you did, I think you did nail it. As part of the credit courses, you are required, it's mandatory to complete the Coursera and MOOC portion. And if you have already a certificate achieved on your account and later on the stage your Coursera account gets linked to your degree courses, then basically you don't have to revisit your Coursera. You just have to reapply your learning what you have done as part of the Coursera in your assignments that you get added, and that you would also work with your teams. Some are individual assignments, and as far as the MOOC requirement is concerned, you would already have furnished that as part of earning the certificate. But if you haven't earned the certificate for the courses that you're taking and it's required to, then you would complete the MOOCs, because without which you would not get a full credit on that course.
What other things make up your grades in like the 4-credit transcriptable courses, like a non-degree course or a degree course?
Sure. So there are different breakdowns here. So we have a high engagement breakdown. Basically, you are interacting and sharing the knowledge with other prospective students. That's the one portion. And the second portion, so that basically the idea behind the first high engagement is so that the course is very interactive with other students and all students are invested for their time. And the second thing is your individual assignments. That's basically applying your learning, what you have learned in your Coursera, and it builds upon it. And the other are the team assignments, which are broader assignments. You have different sections to complete, and then you would work with in a real world scenarios in a team setting. And then there are some courses that have midterm exams and the final exams, and that all 4-5 things components based on your letter grade, and once you have a letter grade that qualifies for your 4-credit requirement here.
Okay. To enroll in MOOCs, do we need to apply to the non-degree program? So Allison's typing the answer there too, but that's a great question. So there's a couple options. I mean, you can apply to Coursera. Well, it's not even apply. You can enroll in a MOOC on Coursera. That's one of our MOOCs that we have included in our classes. And you can take that course and audit that course for free. You can pay the subscription and earn your certificate after completion. Or you can enroll as a non-degree student in an Illinois 4-credit hour course or a graduate certificate, or apply to one of our master's degree programs. All of those courses are going to include 2 MOOCs in every course. that's going to be included in the tuition, included in our curriculum. And so it's not a separate process. Basically, think about it as, we work together with Coursera. It's a great partner of ours, and they just do foundational material really well and lay it out like your textbook, like your virtual textbook. So bringing that portion into the high engagement component that we do really well, it just works really well together. I think I just used well too many times in that one sentence, but anyways, it's just a great partnership, and they work really well together. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? I saw a question on PAT and what PAT is, and PAT is the performance-based admissions track option that we have for students who might not quite meet some of our minimum requirements. Perhaps you had below a 3.0 for your bachelor's degree, which is one of our requirements for our master's degrees. If you were a 2.5, say, this would be an option for you. And what the PAT is that it's an option to go through the regular application process, but if admitted, we are acknowledging that you are a little bit below that minimum requirement, and we want to give you a chance to prove yourself. So you would take 3 courses, depending on, so 3 courses for the IMSM and the IMBA program, it's 2 for the IMSA, but you would take those 3 courses. You have to earn a B or better in at least 2 of the 3, and an overall GPA of 3.0, and then we'll automatically admit you. So just an amazing option to prove yourself, try out some of our courses while you're working towards your degree. Hopefully, we'll evaluate your grades and you'll be admitted, but just another great option for students who might not, outright be just at that minimum requirement that we require for our programs. Okay, let's see. Gaurav, are you seeing any questions in the chat that you can answer? Oh, I'm in the wrong section.
I'm reading the chats. There is a question about the recordings. Would that be shared on the email? I'm not sure if that is answered.
Yep, I think Amy and Allison added to the chat. This will be up on our YouTube page in another day, or give me maybe a couple days to get it up there. Sure. Let's see.
And then I have another question here. It's from someone here. It says, what if I'm a graduate from India and I have a CPA certificate? Am I eligible for this program? So I believe the minimum requirement, Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 4 years bachelor's degree.
Correct. And we, the graduate college is really great about evaluating international transcripts. I know that occasionally there's a 3-year degree question combined with like another master's degree, and they will make that determination and evaluate your grades and your GPA, and they will convert it for us. You don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. And they'll determine whether or not you're eligible for our program. So great question. If you have any kind of other questions with that, just reach out to us at Gies Online and we're happy to chat. Is this school the same as University of Illinois? Yes. So the Gies College of Business is one of the colleges, the many colleges that is within the University of Illinois. So with that comes that whole entire network that you'll have of alumni. You have all access to everything that a residential student would have. Typically, you can get your iCard so that you can access libraries and things like that. So yeah, so you will have the University of Illinois behind you. Let's see. Any other questions before we wrap up? Amy and Allison, any that were major questions that we've missed?
Looks like we have a question about if you can take one course at a time during our degree programs.
Whether or not you can, yes, you can take one course each 8-week term, and Gaurav has done just that. If you take, depending on which degree, so the IMBA, for instance, if you took one course every 8-week term, you would be on that 3-year timeline. If you take 2 every 8 weeks, then you would be on the 2-year timeline. Can you talk about just real quick what the time commitment would be on average for those, like taking 1 versus 2, since you've done it?
Right. So I would say each course I would roughly park 2 to 3 hours per week basis. So usually our courses are 8 weeks long, and you would get 4 credits for 8 weeks in return. So I would park like 4 hours in a week so that I can invest on my assignments, my exams, the preps, the MOOCs that I have to complete. And so that's thing. And if your schedule allows like 6 hours in a week, or if you can dedicate your weekend itself, I think that's a great way to enroll for 8-week courses.
Okay.
I mean,
That
2 credit
that's
courses.
great.
Yep.
What
Yep.
so we typically say, and I think it really depends on which courses you pair, also what your particular
Exactly.
background is. But
That's
usually we'll say 10 to 15 hours of work each week for one, and maybe
correct.
20 to 30, but it really is
Mhm.
depends on what your background is and which courses they are.
Right.
So
And
um,
I would categorize 2 courses, like ones are quantitative courses, one are qualitative courses. So I would always, my favorite combination is to pick one from the quant and one from qual, so that I have combination of both math and theories. Yeah.
that's a great point. Did you work with your advisors on that in order to figure out like which ones?
Yes, I think that's that's a great way where you can plan your overall degree plan. So I really like that tool, so that you can really look forward, like how you're on your way, on your path to complete your degree program, and how many credits that you would need. Especially if you are focusing on some focus areas or specializations within your degree program. So you can work with your advisors, try to mix and match the courses, and align with your career goals there.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know they're very helpful, so it's always good to hear
Cool.
how our students use them. So one last point, I know I saw a question about like completing a Coursera specialization. So say, we have 6 specializations within the IMBA that you have to complete. If you've completed that on Coursera and only done the MOOC component, so that would be 2 per course, so you'd have 6 MOOCs done in that specialization, and you earned your Coursera certificate for that. Great. Again, once you're an admitted student, our Coursera and Illinois components will match up, and we'll see that you completed those certificates, and you won't have to repeat that. You'll automatically get that completion credit for that. If you haven't completed those, then you would be doing those, along with the high engagement component with everybody else in your course. So I know that's a common question. So hopefully that alleviated some of that confusion. I think we're about ready to wrap up. I think some great questions. I think Gaurav, you provided like some really great feedback and just the real student experience. So we always enjoy having our current students here. And I love that you started with a MOOC and you moved to the MSM, and now super
IMBA.
excited you're in the MBA. So
Awesome. I'm so excited, and thank you for having me. That's such a great questions. So many interactions that I see from our prospective learners, and I hope to see them uh, uh, in our full-fledged credit courses.
yeah, they could be in your class, right? So
Yes, I'll happy to have them, and maybe we work on the team assignments. Yeah.
yes, excellent. Well,
Yep.
we appreciate everybody being here, and thank you, Allison and Amy, in the chat. It looked like there was a lot of questions, so hopefully all of your questions were answered. If they weren't, Allison and Amy and we all work in recruitment and admissions. Just shoot us an email or email at giesonline@illinois.edu, and we're happy to have a conversation with you. We love talking to people about what their professional goals are and which credential is right for you. So please reach out to us. We're all easy to talk to and excited to hear from you. So that's it for us. I'm sorry we went 4 minutes over, but have a great afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're located in the world. And we hope to hear from you soon. Have a good day.
Awesome. Have a nice day, everyone, and thanks for having me, Kate, and everyone.